So this is kind of review for you. We're going to look at supporting sentences. Um, so yeah, in a paragraph, we have, you know, our topic sentence, we have supporting sentences, we have concluding. All right, supporting sentences, and this is what your body paragraphs, right? In your essays, you got your body paragraphs, you got your introduction, you got your conclusion, right? But these sentences, all these details, facts, quotations, opinions, statistics, I didn't write opinions. Opinions are weak. That's why. All these supporting sentences, they make up your body paragraph, right? So without good data, without good details, you cannot prove your point. You can't tell your not story, but you can't, discuss. You can't argue what you're trying to talk about. So yeah, academic writing requires that you support your ideas and opinions with facts, statistics, quotations. Okay. And these, facts, they're not yours. Somebody's done the research. It's on the internet. It's in a book. It's in some kind of research. All right. They're not yours unless discovered something. That'd be great. These come from outside sources, from books, magazines, newspapers, websites, personal interviews, videos, and so on and so on and so on. Right? You can get it from a Netflix show. You can get it from a YouTube channel. You can get it from websites and everything like that. You can get it from talking to a scientist. You can get it from talking to your teacher. But in your writing, unless you did the research, unless you were finding answers like in the wild, it's not going to come from you. Okay, so we need these things: facts, statistics, and quotations. And let's see the difference between facts and opinions. Okay, what's an opinion? Okay, it's subjective. That means that you believe this. Not everyone, maybe 50% believe this, maybe 25% believe some statement. Okay, so it's based on your beliefs or attitudes. And it's okay when you're trying to prove something. You say this is better than that because, right? You start with your opinion. You can use that in your topic sentence, but you're trying to prove your point. But you can't prove it with just opinions. You just can't say, why do you like this? Because it's the best. Why is it the best? Because it's the best. Like I love when you ask somebody, why do you like, I don't know, soda? They're like, because it's delicious. And I say, what makes it delicious? I don't know. It's just delicious. That's my biggest thing. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. They can't argue. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people like that. So there's a lot of people. And whenever you argue with somebody, it could be your friend, somebody in your class, your parents, and, they tell you, don't do this. What do they say? Don't play video games. Okay. And you say, why? Then they say, it's bad for you. And I'm like, okay, why is it bad? They're like, because it is. Like doing too much of anything is bad for you. But like you should give some evidence. You should give some facts. Okay, like this: men are better drivers than women. Okay, you probably heard this. It's very gender things that we do. Some gender discrimination, some misogyny. We always say women are bad drivers. Um, and I've met many women that drive much better than I do. I'm like, you drive. But we have this thing in our cultures, your culture, somebody else's culture, my culture, where it's like, well, let me drive. You're a lady. Eating kokorech is a bad habit. no. Why is it a bad habit? It's so delicious. English is an easy language to learn. Okay, these are opinions, right? There's no evidence. There's nothing that says why it's easy, why it's a bad habit, why men are better drivers. Maybe, maybe men are slightly better. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they did a test with 1,000 people and, there's a test. But you can't just say that, You need evidence. You need facts. Okay, so these are opinions. And yeah, it's okay to express your opinions in academic writing. It's okay to say, like, I think that this is the better option. Because, right? But yeah, it's not support. It's kind of like your stance, your like argument is that this is better, and you have to prove it. Okay, but it doesn't support your argument. If you express an opinion, you must support it with facts. Okay, why is Kokorech better? So facts are objective statements of truth. I don't know. Objective means everybody believes the same thing. Like the sun will rise. That's a pretty objective statement, right? Someday it'll explode. I know. Is that what you're going to tell me? They're objective. So we have subjective and objective. We use the same words in Turkish. Oh, good. Objective? Oh, nice. Okay. Perfect. We can add that to our Quizlet. Objective, subjective. See, thank you. It's good to know these things. But do you really know what objective means, everybody? And do you know which ones are subjective and objective? It's the same. Most people, it's hard to tell an opinion and a fact. Okay. So yeah, at sea level, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, right? This is an objective fact. Nothing changes. We can do an experiment, right? An objective fact is that women live longer than men. It's not saying women are better than men, right? Or men are better than women. It's not saying anything like that. There's just evidence. There's scientific proof, on average, okay? Not every woman lives longer than men, but on average, out of 1 million people, you look at the data and women will live longer than men. That's a fact, okay? Kokorech is delicious. That's an opinion, but Kokorech is made with intestines or from intestines. Does anybody like Kokorech? I love Kokorech. Kokorech. What am I doing? I'm so sorry. Have I been spelling it wrong all these years? Oh my gosh. No wonder nobody laughs at my jokes. I can't spell. Kokorech. Who likes Kokorech? It's like there's a club. It's like in Turkey. See? Okay. You're either in the club that likes Kokorech or you're in the club that doesn't like Kokorech. There are two types of people in Turkey. People who love Kokorech and people who don't. People who don't like Kokorech do not understand why people who love Kokorech eat that stuff. I love it. I love it before, after, anytime. It could be in the afternoon. It could be in the morning. I'm from Adana. I'll eat Kokorech in the morning. Except they don't make it in the morning. Okay? So sometimes facts need proof. Okay? So yes, women live longer than men. That's a fact. But how? Like, how much? Like, I want to know more details, right? So then we have to use these things. It's called specific details to prove these statements. Okay? So we have opinions, and that's your argument. We have facts. It's stating something. Okay? But we need a little bit more, right? We need some kind of data, some kind of information, some kind of research that will tell us more. So these are what we call specific support details. And these include examples, okay? Statistics, these numbers, quotations, things from books, from videos. All right, so for example, opinion. Photographs of ultra thin fashion models send the wrong message to girls and young women. Okay? That's an opinion, right? It's wrong message. Anything you talk about right or wrong, anytime you talk about good or bad, it's an opinion. It's okay to have opinions. It's not okay to not support your opinions. Okay, so a fact: ultra fashion models are unnaturally thin. Okay, that's the beauty standard. Maybe not every country's fashion models are unnaturally thin, but on average, or from this place, this context, maybe fashion models are all unnaturally thin. If you look on Instagram, if you look at the filters, things like that. What we want really is all of this information, right? This is a nice way to do the funnel when you go from, lots of general, broad information and you take it down to more details, make it more specific, general to specific. Okay. Average model weighs 25% less than the average woman of the same height. Okay. And it'd be great to know where that information came from. Maybe there was a research in 1995, and that's kind of old. Maybe I might look for a research from 2020. Maybe things have changed, okay? But somewhere somebody did this research. They measured average women versus models, okay? So this is a great little start for a paragraph, right? We can just make this into a paragraph. Photographs of ultra-thin fashion models send the wrong message to girls and young women. Fashion models are unnaturally thin. The average model weighs 25% less than the average woman of the same height. Therefore, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Therefore, I don't know, it's an unrealistic expectation to be this thin. I don't know, body image stuff. It's very difficult. Practice number 1. Let's practice something. Okay, let's look at specific supporting details. We're gonna do this on a different thing. Where do I have it? I didn't have it. Mr. Bob. Whoops! I gave you the answers. Oh my God! This is why I stopped doing this. This is why I stopped. Because it's so hard to hide the answers. I'm going to throw this in the chat. You guys can do this. You can do this. So which one's an opinion? Which one's a fact? I got to zoom in. Is it going to work? No. Doesn't work. Nothing works. People who steal identities. It's talking about identity theft. It's a little old. Punishment for identity theft is not severe enough. Identity theft is increasing at a rapid pace. So I want you to put these into categories for opinion. Do you think it's an opinion? Do you think it's a fact that needs proof? Or do you think it's a specific supporting detail? This one has information, data. Do it together. You can do it on your own. Just press the submit button once you're finished. But let's do this first one. People who steal identities do a lot of damage before their victims become aware of it. Do you think this is an opinion, a fact that needs proof, or specific supporting detail? Do a lot of damage. Okay. What does a lot mean? Before their victims become aware of it. Opinion. Yeah, because we don't know, right? I'm going to say it's an opinion. There's not a lot of, it's not saying, it's not giving any specific information. Let's look at this one. Identity theft is increasing at a rapid pace. Let you guys type it out. Everybody, type it out. What do you guys do when you're just sitting there? Fact that needs proof. Yeah. See? Hopefully you didn't look at the screen before, but yes, it's increasing. How fast? We don't know. Um, when was this study? What year? There's no information like that, right? Identity theft is more serious than any other type of theft. Do you think so? Identity theft? What about your house was stolen? I think it's an opinion. Uh, Identity theft happens to ordinary people, not just to the wealthy. Okay, is this objective, subjective? Is this a truth or an opinion? Coffee. I don't know. So let me ask you this. Do you think that people that are ordinary have identity theft? And do you think that wealthy people have identity theft? And then can I prove it? Probably. I'm going to put this one in the facts that need proof. Okay? Because, yes, identity theft happens to everyone, right? Yeah, maybe. This one's easy. In 2003, 60% of identity theft victims did not notify the police, according to the FTC, the Federal Trades Commission. It's an American federation organization. Okay, so these are pretty much easier, right? This is giving us very specific information. Okay. Sure. Sorry. Um, Anything with percentages, with numbers. Okay, so this one's also pretty easy. In 2003, 31,000 cases of identity theft were reported to the FCC. In 2003, the number was 210,000. Sorry. Specific, right? And let's look for another one that's specific. Anytime you see numbers, anytime you see years, usually, it's usually a fact, usually a fact. And then usually has some kind of specific supporting details. So last year, the losses of victims totaled more than $7 billion. It's probably way more now. Stealing people's bitcoins. All right. Punishment for identity thieves is not enough. And most people do not report identity theft to the police. This one I'm going to put as an opinion, right? Somebody might say it's severe. Some people might say, oh, it's not severe enough. Some people might say, oh, it's okay. It shouldn't be a crime. So you can have an opinion about that. It is kind of, 2 years in prison, is that too much? Is it too little? Is 5 days in prison enough to scare people? I think it's sometimes just putting them in prison for 24 hours might be enough. Most people do not report identity theft to the police. So when you think about opinions, if you put some information on there, would it become a fact, right? Most people do not report identity theft to the police. Most people. What does most people mean? It's a number. It's a quantity, right? So if I told you a number, instead of most people, if I said 60% of people do not report identity theft to the police, then you can figure out, yeah, that's a fact, right? And there's information. But when they say most people, we need more proof. I'm going to see if I'm right. Let's see. I think I'm wrong. Oh, this one's wrong. Wait, come back. Oh. Where does this one go? People who steal identities do a lot of damage for victims become aware. Huh. I guess so. That is a fact. Okay. That's a fact that needs proof. Your teacher's wrong. It's good to be wrong, guys. You learn something every day. All right. Let's get back. Yeah, there's only 2 O's. writer could give an example of a person who's victimized before noticing it. People who steal identities do a lot of damage before the victims become aware of it. Of course, duh, that's a fact. Yeah, you usually are do not become aware of it until way after the fact. Right? So yeah, think about facts, think about opinions when you read something in the newspaper, when you read something on the internet. Try to think, what you're seeing. Is this fact? Is the facts real? Is somebody making this up? Can you look for evidence? If they're claiming, oh, if you put avocado oil on your face, your skin's gonna be perfect. They're trying to sell you something, right? This is how people sell you things. They show you this beautiful lady or guy with perfect skin, and they say, look, he uses avocado oil on his skin. And maybe it's true, but maybe he's just has nice skin, or she has nice skin. And so yeah, it's okay. It's not okay. It's wonderful. It's perfect to get information from other sources. You can use personal experiences, your own. Okay, you can talk about the time that you were identity thefted, when your identity was stolen. I mean, um, and because that, it's a fact. It happened to you. You can talk about your experience. You shouldn't only talk about your experience. You should use other information to help support what your experiences, how your experiences are similar to most other people's experiences, right? That's how the story becomes a good story. Gather quotations and statistics. Okay, so we need to find this information. We go online, we do our research on Google Scholar, whatever, wherever you get your information. You can ask your grandmother. Maybe she had her identity stolen. We can take a survey. We can ask like 100 people, has this happened to you? Out of those people, what was it like? How much money did you lose in total? How long did it take to get your identity back? I don't know. You can interview people. You can ask people. Okay, so there's different ways of getting information. We can interview our classmates. We can interview our teachers, friends, strangers in the city. If you're doing research about how many people love Kokorech and Izmir, and you want to compare that to Adana, maybe you ask like 100 people on the streets, 1,000 people. You say, do you like Kokorech? They say no. You write it down. No, yes, no, yes, 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 yes. You can say, oh, more people in Adana like Kokorech than people in Izmir. Okay. Wonderful research. I'm going to do it. Okay, 3 ways that we can insert outside information. You can quote it, right? So this is exactly what they said. So if you do an interview, you can take that information. If you get it from a book, copy and paste, but put the quotations. And that lets me know that you didn't say that. Somebody else said it. So you're not stealing, you're just borrowing. It's okay to borrow, okay? It's not okay to steal, right? Is this a fact or an opinion? I guess it's an opinion, but we have laws, so I would say it's a fact. Okay? We have laws against stealing things, right? You can't steal something from your family or your friends or your neighbors, but you can borrow things. And borrowing means you ask them, right? If you just take something without telling somebody and then you put it back, is that stealing or is it borrowing? I don't know. You can summarize it, so you use different words, okay? Using more than the original to explain it. So you add some more, you change the words around, okay? But you still have to tell me where you got it from, okay? So this is when you're stealing ideas, not words. You're stealing ideas from people. You can paraphrase it, which means summarizing means to explain it all in your own word. Paraphrasing is taking that sentence and kind of changing some of the words. The sentence is almost the same, but it's different enough. It's different enough. Okay, so you're rewording the one sentence to have the same ideas. Okay, that's called paraphrasing. Summarizing is when you explain it in maybe a few more sentences. I don't have an example. Why don't I have an example here? Let's look at Pollen again. Let's see. Stop eating before you're full. Okay. So if I did this, this would be a quote, right? Let's open up a Google Docs. Okay. And what's his name? His name is Pollen. Right. So I'm going to do this. I think it was written in 2003. Dang it. You guys got to learn how to use stuff, you know. Michael Pollan, what year? Goodreads. Anybody use Goodreads? What year? 2008. Sorry, 2003. So that's a quotation, right? Stop eating before you're full. Sometimes we put the comma inside. You can put it inside. All right. And then we could summarize it, you know. Michael Pollan. So this is a quotation. This is a summary. How do we summarize this? Can someone summarize this to me in like maybe a couple sentences? Good. Oh, so no quotation. So the summary would be something like, you know, Michael Pollan says that this is too easy. Michael Pollan says that you should stop, I don't know, eating food before you are. Stop eating food before you are. Is there another word for full? It doesn't matter. Says. Before you're full. Okay. And right. You still have to put this little thing, okay? You put the author's name, the year that the book or thing was written. Boom. This is how I know that you got this information from somewhere. Paraphrasing is you don't use quotations. Okay, but we're just going to change this around. When you're full, you should quit eating. Okay? It's like similar enough, right? But what do we have to do? We still have to put this information because I didn't say this. It is kind of common knowledge, is it not? I don't know. But in his book, you know, we're talking about when you. It's not a great example, guys. Okay, but paraphrasing is when you kind of take the sentence, the original, with the quotations, okay, and then you just kind of rewrite it a little bit. You maybe change the order of the words. It's still not your idea. It came from this guy, right? Unless you say this every day. It's not a great example. But anyways. Okay, but you have to cite. C-I-T-E. That's where the word citation comes from. You have to identify. I know this is a lot of information. You're not going to all use this, but when you are going to be in university, you're going to remember this, okay? You're going to say, this is boring, Mr. Bob. But when you are in your second, third, fourth year and you're writing essays and they're telling you to do this, just say, thanks, Mr. Bob. All right. So using outside sources. Okay. So this is what we're going to be talking about. Plagiarism. Okay, using someone else's words or ideas as if they were your own. It's a serious problem. Okay, students who plagiarize may fail a class. You'll fail the assignment. Okay, I have ways of checking if you copied it from a website. Okay, there's websites. I just put your document in, and then boom, 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 it tells me where the plagiarism is. Okay, we're going to talk more about this. To avoid plagiarism, just use quotation marks. Don't copy and paste. It's okay to borrow, remember? It's okay. Just put the quotations around it. That's all you have to do. And just tell me where you got it from. That's so easy. You can you can borrow. Just don't steal. Stealing is when you say it's mine. Right? That's my ideas. And then Michael Pollan will say, no, those are my ideas. You're going to jail. You do not need quotations if you change the words enough, right? But you still need to put the citation. Cite a source means to tell where you got the information from. Cite a source. Cite a source means to tell where you got the information from. Did you get it from a web page? Did you get it from YouTube? Did you get it from your mom? You can quote your mom, you know? You can quote your teacher. When? 2008. That's how you do it. We have those parentheses, okay? We have these, then we have this, okay? Then you have a last name, and then you have a year. Easy, right? Why do I have a year? Because authors write books, multiple books, more than one. Okay, so citing sources. We use APA, which is the American Psychology Association. Okay, they have a special way of doing it. We can have something like this in text citation. Insert a short reference in parentheses at the end of each borrowed information. See, you didn't steal it, you borrowed it. Okay, and it's we know borrowing is better than stealing. Entries in works cited lists. So this is what it looks like. We call this a reference. We'll talk about this more. You put this at the end. Okay, I'll do this for you today. We look at the appendix. Oh, no. That's not there. This is called the reference. References. I don't know. Do you guys know about this? Have you seen this before? Is this the first time you're hearing about citing sources, about paraphrasing? Every time you do a writing class, you should know about these rules. Your school should have rules, but they don't. And then there are powerful people, politicians, leaders, who also are known to plagiarize. That's the verb form of plagiarism. Okay, so quotations are really good supporting details. Okay, whenever you use a quotation, you found something that was like really supporting your details, right? All those in 2003, blah, blah, blah percent, right? We can do direct quotations, like we just said, those commas, said the man. Indirect, okay? With indirect, we use these reporting verbs, okay? We'll talk about these. According to A, whoever A is, according to Pollan, right? He believes you should use less ingredients in your food, or you should buy, according to Pollan, 2008, you should only have 5 ingredients, or you shouldn't eat it. Maybe that's a belief. So, Michael Pollan believes that people should only eat food with 5 ingredients in the label, right? You got that information. You're telling me where you got it from. You're telling the author's name. You put the 2008 at the end. I know where you got this information from. And there's so many. Well, I'll just do like a explanation about quotations. I'll send you guys a document, a PDF, all the different ways to do quotations. Okay, there's lots of rules. I know. It's boring, but it's necessary. This makes you a better academic writer. This makes you a better student in the future. This will make you a better I don't know, researcher, worker, everything, you know? I just think the more information you guys have, more you'll be able to do. I'll talk about it more in a video. So we'll talk about more quotations later. I know. Okay. Questions, comments, suggestions, anything? What do you guys think? Supporting details. Okay. Facts. Sorry, opinions, facts that need some more proof. And then we have these specific supporting details, SSDs, solid state drives. No. Specific supporting details. We need those in every one of our body paragraphs to give us better information, right? If we're talking about the water crisis, we would take some information from, the video. All right, so that's supporting sentences. Wonderful.